And maybe starting with Jonathan this time. How do you see Flutter in long run, Jonathan? And what is your opinion about Flutter in general? How Flutter is able to do in this cross-platform domain as compared to other frameworks?
I foresee it in the next few years still continuing to grow. It's definitely, it's definitely saved me a lot of time as I've taken it and like adopted it and just kind of abandoned native Android and iOS, because I no longer have to write two apps. I can write one and then just deploy it to both platforms. Then all of a sudden, when Flutter started supporting web, all of a sudden I was a web developer. I'm not a web developer, but all of a sudden I became one. And so not much trouble just to take some Android or iOS app and just all of a sudden convert it to a web app. So that's nice. And also, just during testing, I haven't made any desktop apps yet, like published any, but I use desktop during publishing just to run the app because it starts up so much quicker than the emulator or simulator does. So
Agreed.
I love that Flutter supports all these platforms with the same code base.
Okay. Brian, before me saying anything, please, over to you.
No, I just echo that. Flutter's great. It's my go-to tool these days for any new project or when talking to clients. Like, I don't even suggest native anymore, which is, if me from 5 years ago heard me say that, they would be like, what is wrong with you, man? Native iOS for life. Everything else is garbage. Flutter's changed everything. It's just made mobile development and now web development and desktop development and who knows, maybe AR, VR in the future. Everything just that much easier. Like, even I've been looking into game development in Flutter with using Flame, which is something that would seem crazy a couple years ago. Like, no, you have to use a Unity to do everything. And like, well, maybe not. So maybe Flutter will slowly eat the world, which I'm not going to complain about because Flutter's great. But again, like, if there's a massive paradigm shift, like let's say Meta comes out with this AR headset that actually takes off, and the billion-dollar investment that Zuckerberg is sinking money into actually takes off, and now we all got to switch to AR. Maybe Flutter's not compatible with that because it's not really designed for 3D. So that might be, we'll have to learn and grow. So like when I'm teaching people, I like try to focus still on the fundamentals, learn clean code, learn object-oriented design. Don't be married to a programming language. Don't be married to a framework. Be willing to learn and grow and change.
Okay, got the perspective. Sharing my perspective on this part, what I'll say is I like Flutter for multiple reasons. And this comes from the fact, again, the same part is how efficiently and platform is able to provide you this cross-platform thing, which is what we are discussing right now. So looking at it from two perspectives, from an individual perspective as well as from product perspective. From product perspective, if you can have, like Jonathan tries to echo the word a lot, if you can have a same code base wherein you can work onto your projects, whichever they are, maybe application, like for instance on the desktop or application on the smartphone, and web part, it's way easier and convenient to keep and synchronous and sync of all the code base. It's way easier to work and do the things in a right manner. For a product company, it implies they can work quickly and get things deployed, focus more into building stuff rather than focusing more into the tech stuff. That's how I see things in general. From a personal opinion, if I have to say, it's like I have been trying to figure out what kind of tool can I have which can work all the way around. Like, for instance, if I want to implement a native functionality easily, that is, of course, will I be able to do that? Like, for instance, we were discussing right now about Unity and Flame. So one interesting thing that has happened in past, and I'm sure you guys know about the part, is that someone out there integrated Unity in Flutter. So it's like, if you want to integrate something which is like very much native type, you can definitely do with Flutter. It's not that you are being constrained of by trying things out. And see, if you really want an idea to perpetuate, you should be able to try things fast, because the only way to know if an idea will work or not is when you try it out. It might work, it might not work, but the only way to know is when you try it out. So Flutter enables that fast way of doing things. And second aspect that I like about Flutter is this cross-platform thing. Like you guys know about Fuchsia, okay? Fuchsia is an OS project which Google has been working on. It has this microkernel zirconium, if I'm pronouncing it right, which is what it is. It has the capacity to work from embedded systems to normal systems like laptops, smartphones, and all. So the kind of possibility I see here is this: you possibly can bring in same maybe code base which can work on embedded systems, to which even Flutter is doing right now, or trying to do at least right now. Maybe not too much mature on that side. We can do things on embedded system, from embedded system to our normal typical systems. Now, what this enables is, in like Brian mentioned, the best thing you can do is you can just write Flutter create and Flutter run. That's the only thing you need to do. So provide an abstraction, because we don't want to deal right now when we are working on a project on the nitty-gritties of how, let's say, stacks work, registers work. We want to do development part in general. So we want some sort of abstraction, so we can focus on only the things which are required for us to do. So now what happens in the scenario which I mentioned is, if you have if you have a single code base, or if you have some tool through which you can deploy things on multiple locations, what you can do is you can make the possibility of integration quicker. What I mean to say is, you have an idea, and like future will be sort of IoT plus some software, something like that, or and strong combination of hardware plus software. That is how I'm able to envision. So having some tool like Fuchsia, Zirconium, and on which Flutter can work on, and you can provide applications and all. Having a solution, a software like this, will enable you to deploy things quicker, and will make you more, you can say, innovative in that term. That is how I'm able to see Flutter right now. That is what my conclusion is. Yeah, before moving on to the next set of descriptive topics, let me know if you have any different opinions than what I mentioned, and in the terms that I mentioned, or do you feel differently than what I feel in things, if you have anything.
I don't remember hearing anything that I disagreed with.
Okay.
Brian? Preaching to the choir here, man.
Sorry, I was not able to understand that part.
Sorry, you're preaching to the choir. Okay. We are, all three of us are probably huge Flutter evangelists. We need to get some web developers on the call who might have a contrary opinion, who thinks that JavaScript should eat the world. So